Welcome back to Ghost Powered Entertainment. I'm your host, Kanan Becker, and today I give you 10 more movies to check out right now on Tubi. Alright, so for anyone not familiar with this channel, once a week I do a deep dive into one of the popular streaming platforms and come up with 10 movies that I recommend for you guys. And this week I did a deep dive into Tubi and came up with 10 more movies that I highly recommend. And also, if you could do me a favor before we get into this list and hit that like button, because that helps out this channel so much. And with that, let's get to the list. Alright, so kicking off this list is a film called Hannibal Rising.
It's Lecter. He's tracking them down one by one.
Good evening, Inspector.
So this isn't what I would consider to be my favorite version of Hannibal, but it still is a great movie and a lot of fun, and it's cool to just kind of get a backstory on Hannibal, but I do feel the TV series did a better job of giving you a prequel, so to speak, of the Hannibal character. And if you're curious to hear me talk more about the Hannibal series, I did a full review on it right here. But I just think that this is still a good movie and a really enjoyable companion to movies like Silence of the Lambs. It is much more of an action-paced, exciting thriller type of film than other Hannibal type of stories that we've seen in the past with like Silence of the Lambs. And it gets very brutal at times. There's some really memorable, gory scenes, but just in general, it's a really solid movie that I highly recommend.
His face had been eaten.
So next up is a movie that is pretty much what I consider to be horror junk food, and that is Urban Legend.
The stories we've all told.
Guy and a girl, and they're parked out in the woods. The guy steps out, and the girl starts to hear these scratching noises. It's her dead boyfriend hung from a tree.
So this is more what I consider to be a popcorn junk food type of horror movie, something that's a little bit of a shitty movie, but still a really fun movie in my opinion. I think that this is a great little movie. Yes, the acting isn't the greatest. Yes, it has holes and flaws and this and that. But if you're someone like me who does find charm and does enjoy a lot of the late 90s, early 2000s horror, and even though it has a little bit of too much of that polish and there's a cheese factor to it, you still enjoy that, then this is another great one to check out. It's along the lines of movies like 13 Ghosts or Ghost Ship. It just has that cheesy 2000s slobbered all over it, but it's still a fun little movie that I do recommend.
Someone out there is taking all these urban legends and making them reality.
Urban legend.
Have you heard the one about the microwave?
So next up is Blade of the Immortals. So a friend of mine, Clifford Poles, recommended this and I fell in love with it from the jump. This movie is so gory, so graphic, so exciting, just so many things that I love in an action-paced, not quite horror, but more of a action bloody thriller. But if you're someone who enjoyed the fighting and the bloody and the brutal kills of movies like the recent Mortal Kombat, if you're into that kind of stuff, this does it, and it does it way better. There is so many bloody, exciting, fun kills in this. The fighting scenes are just breathtaking. This movie is about this amazing samurai who is also immortal, who agrees to help this girl avenge the loss of her parents. They're brutally murdered, and so he decides he's gonna help her go and avenge the death of them. And it's basically just this journey with him and the girl, and him just killing all these dudes in just the most violent, awesome fashion. You will have to read subtitles, but since this movie is really about the fighting and the gore and the action, there's not a ton to read, so it's really not that big of a deal. But either way, this is just a really fun, exciting movie, one that I think if you're a fan of action, bloody, gory, exciting stuff, then you should definitely check this out.
만지상 다시.
かすり傷だよ。
Next up is a documentary called The 50 Best Horror Movies You've Never Seen.
Scared?
Forget Freddy and Jason.
This is a whole new crop of crazies you haven't seen before.
These are movies you have to see.
This is the only list you need.
We are counting down
50 of the scariest movies
that you've never seen.
This is a great documentary that if you are a fan of Into the Dark, which is one that I recently have talked about on List, and is just a phenomenal documentary about the 80s that's over on Shudder, and you're a fan of that and love watching these celebrities and people talk about different classic horror movies that you might have never heard of, if you're a fan of that kind of stuff, then this is another really brilliant documentary. I've heard of a lot of the movies on here, but there was also a lot that I had never heard of. So basically, if you're someone who enjoys watching lists like the ones that I make and just hearing about horror movies that you might have never heard of, then this is a great documentary to check out.
These really are the 50 best horror movies you've never seen.
You will sleep with the lights on.
50 scary movies
you have to see.
These are the 50 best horror movies you've never seen.
Next up is the film Butterfly Effect.
What if you could go back in time?
You are completely relaxed. Think of it like a movie. You can pause, rewind, or slow down.
Could you save the one person that mattered the most?
So this is an early 2000s movie starring Ashton Kutcher. A lot of people have seen this, but I do hear less and less people talk about this movie as the years have gone by. And I think it's one that we definitely should not forget. It is more of a thriller. This is more of a thriller, action, psychological drama than it is a straight horror movie. So if you've never seen this movie, it's basically about Ashton Kutcher's character who has these crazy headaches and finds out that he's able to travel back in time. And he starts going and changing things. So it just gets really twisted and crazy as he changes things and all these different things start to unfold. It's just a cool movie that deals with time travel, and you know I love me some time travel. So if you've never checked this out, do yourself a favor and give it a look.
The Butterfly Effect.
So next we go to Warm Bodies.
What am I doing with my life? I just want to connect. Why can't I connect with people? Oh, right. It's because I'm dead.
Warm Bodies is a very cool movie. It is a very unique and very different zombie movie. It has a very unique spin on the whole zombie lore, zombie movies, one that I really enjoy. This is a small movie, not a huge blockbuster kind of situation. It is small, but it's done extremely well with really solid acting, solid directing. It looks great, and it's just, like I said, a fun little movie. This movie is basically another apocalyptic type of situation where the world is overran by zombies. But it's unique and it's different because it's also strangely a very sweet love story. But yet it does still have zombie kills, does still have some gore and blood, does still have some action. But if you go into it just wanting to watch a smaller, well put together, fun little indie horror slash comedy slash, I don't know, zombie movie, definitely check it out.
We're seeing corpses fighting skeletons, sir.
How do we shoot?
Shoot this!
Hi.
Huh?
Next up is a great little popcorn movie, and it's Deep Blue Sea.
In the most advanced research facility in the world. Wow.
Beneath its glassy surface, a world of gliding monsters.
A team of specialists is working against the clock on an experiment to benefit mankind.
So I know a lot of people have seen this, but it's a great rewatch, so that's why it's on this list, because summer is upon us, and to me, this is one of my favorite summertime movies, because Deep Blue Sea does the shark thing right. Granted, the best, the OG has gotta be Jaws, so I'm not trying to put it into that category. But if you are someone like me who loves your action, stupid, junk foody, like over the top kind of movies, so there's definitely a place in the world for films, you know, horror films that are well put together, stuff like Jaws. But then to me, there's also a place in this world for stuff that's just fun, exciting, over the top. It doesn't matter as far as a perfect script or perfect acting. You're just going into it for the excitement and the kills and all of that. and Deep Blue Sea has all of that. So if you're looking for just a fun movie, even if you have already seen it, it's a fun rewatch, but if you've never seen it, definitely check out Deep Blue Sea. Next up is the film, The Number 23.
The Number 23. Chapter 1. All I could think about was the number. I met you when I was
23.
And the day we met was?
September 14th.
9/14. 14 plus 9 is? 23.
So this is one of those rare films starring Jim Carrey where he has a dramatic role. And this might be his only horror kind of thriller movie that he ever did as well. And he does a brilliant job in this movie. If you're someone who hasn't seen Jim Carrey do a dramatic role, you might be skeptical. But he is actually a really quality actor. And he's done a few movies that I've absolutely loved him in where he does these dramatic roles. But this is one of my favorites, and it's probably, like I said, because it's his only horror thriller type of movie. And so, of course, I'm gonna love this. But this is a psychological thriller that goes down this crazy winding road of trying to figure out what's going on. So Jim Carrey plays this character who comes across this book, who basically introduces him to the number 23, which takes him down this crazy rabbit hole of connecting 23 to all these different things. And he starts to lose his sanity and starts to question his sanity. And it's really just a fun psychological thriller that if you've never checked it out, definitely do yourself a favor and check it out.
Don't do this to us.
Next, we go to another movie like Deep Blue Sea, another junk food movie, and that would be Snakes on a Plane. So Samuel Jackson is at his most over-the-top best in this movie. He is just an absolute blast in this film. It's all over the top, it's all cheesy, but it is all great in the most fun, exciting, thriller, creature feature, horror type of way. This is just one of those fun creature features that goes in the same category as movies like Anaconda and Lake Placid and, like I said, Deep Blue Sea. But I love it. I love this kind of movie. I love Samuel L. Jackson in this movie. And if you've never seen it, definitely check it out. And even if you have, it's always fun for a rewatch.
Shh. Did you guys hear that?
And last up on this list, we go to a movie called Six Souls.
Hello? Is Adam there? I'm sorry, Dr. Harding. I'm the only one here. I'd like you to look for him.
What was that?
This is Adam.
This is an extremely well put together psychological thriller that I am shocked I haven't heard more about. I hadn't even heard about this movie at all until just recently. And after watching it, I was blown away. I absolutely loved this movie. It stars Julianne Moore and she does an outstanding job in this, but it has also a decent cast around her of people you would recognize. I love so much that it delved into this weird folk tale, like legendary weird folklore that just goes into this weird twist and turns. It's just a quality film, like I said, and it is a lot of fun in a weird, twisted, psychological way, like making you think, making you try to figure out this mystery, and I love movies like that. It's a great psychological thriller that more people really need to check out.
We'll find you.
Alright guys, that's going to do it for me today. Please leave your comments down below. Let me know if you're going to watch any of the ones on this list. And if you have recommendations, you know I love hearing those as well. And if you could do me a favor and hit that subscribe button and ding that little bell, because that is the best way to keep track of this channel. And when I post videos like this, and I post videos like this at least 2 times every week. I also want to give a huge thank you to my patrons because your support means so much to me. And if you would like to find out more about becoming a patron, the link is down in the description. And like always, thank you so much for watching. Please crush that like button. And remember guys, horror can be fun. I will see you guys next time.